Welcome to Mortgage Talk 101 here on Super Talk 1270. Time to look behind the numbers. Buying, selling, refinancing. Mortgage Talk 101 addresses real issues in real estate. Now, live from the Super Talk 1270 studios, here's Mortgage Talk 101 host Joe Sheehan.
Saddling up the stainless steel microphone of the Mortgage Network, here is my co-host, Mr. Housing.
Dave Floor, you're a little late today.
I'm right on time.
Folks, he literally came in on time.
I literally was running as I was saying, welcome to Mortgage Talk 101, and saddling up the stainless steel microphone of the Mortgage Network. Well, at least you know that we move faster than the speed of stop.
Yes, absolutely. we
All right,
roll right along.
Well, good morning, folks. Welcome to Mortgage Talk 101. We got some interesting stuff here moving on interest rates, and we will go ahead and get right to it. Dave Floor, Mr. Housing, the Freddie Mac primary mortgage market survey is.
I brought it up. I've got it because you weren't here, so I was
preparing
myself.
You were prepared to be present and while I was dilatory in my duty.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, I'm ready with the Freddie Mac
weekly
survey, and it says the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 3.66% with an average 0.6 points for the week ending January 29th, 2015. That was up from last week when it averaged 3.63. A year ago.
We said that was likely to happen.
Yeah, I think we did.
Because rates were on the way up. Yeah. Rates were struggling last show.
But what's happened?
Rates have gotten better since then.
3 days? Pretty good. Yeah. So actually the survey again is not quite the picture that it is today.
Always remember that when we look at that, but what a great, it's if you go to FreddieMac.com, the primary mortgage market survey data, you can look at it yourself and you can kind of see where rates are trending and where they're headed.
Yep. Just Google Freddie Mac survey.
And they're conventional rates.
These are conventional rates.
They're not, they don't include FHA or government rates. So
government rates, Joel, 25 to 50 basis points below that?
Sure.
Maybe 3.25?
Absolutely, depending on credit. Yep.
Okay. A year ago, the 30-year fixed rate was at 4.32%. So we're a good 60, over 0.5% less than we were last year at this time.
Oh, it's so bad it makes rates feel so good.
Yeah.
Out there. Cool.
15-year fixed rate mortgage this week averaged 2.98%. We're below 3. We cracked 3 with an average of 0.5 point. That was up from last week when it averaged 2.93. So we stayed below 3.
I mean, have you seen the stems on those 9s?
Oh, nice. Yeah. A year ago, this time the 15-year firm was at 3.4. So again, about 0.5 percentage point below what it was a year ago. So super.
Nice.
All right.
Well, let's get to mortgage market guidance advice for Thursday, June 29, 2015. The Fed released its monetary policy statement yesterday, and it was what they didn't say that hurt stocks and helped bonds. What didn't they say, Dave? What didn't they say?
What are we supposed to base things on if they don't say something?
They didn't say they were not going to raise rates.
They didn't say they were not going to raise rates. Okay, and that's bad.
This spooked the still very much Fed-driven stock market as they don't like uncertainty around the punch bowl going away. The Fed did acknowledge that the U.S. economy is improving, that rates may rise later in the year, but following line, inflation is anticipated to decline further in the near term. Leads us to believe that with low inflation, the Fed will be in no rush to raise Fed funds rate anytime soon. Just having this conversation with a guy who works for a large national lender who was passing through town here and was saddled up to the bar at the Toasted Frog. And we were having this conversation, and he found out about our radio show because I told him. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about this exact thing, and he had said, well, the Fed's likely to raise interest rates around June. And I go, don't hold out for that. Don't bet the farm on that. And he's like, really? Because that's what they're saying. I go, yeah. I go, no, don't bet on it. And here we go. Yeah. Mortgage market guide ahead of it, talking about it.
And that's our man, Bill Bodner, who's
the oracle
since like 4 years ago. He's been nailing this.
The oracle
on rates. Yeah.
And by the way, I've met now. No, he's not a fan yet, but did I tell you about I was in the Toasted Frog and ran into a group of like 4 or 5 guys that listen to our show regularly?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they were all talking about it.
Oh, well. We have fans?
You're a hit.
We have fans.
You are a hit.
Wow.
Me, they turned down the dial just a little bit. But you
Oh,
dial
get
up.
out of here. Get out of here.
You know, and you know what? And one thing about it that we have not done for this show in a long time, before we get to the end of the update here, is we have not brought out the beauty barometer.
Oh, yeah.
We got to do something about that.
Well, it's a sad day right now. We don't want to do it now.
Well, no, we'd break it.
Yeah.
But we've got to do something about the guests we're bringing on because we got to at least make sure the thing works.
Okay. All right.
All right. Anyway.
So somebody was asking for that, or?
Well, no, I'm actually asking.
Oh, you were.
for that.
Okay.
Okay. So, and when you consider the dollar getting stronger and every other central bank around the world easing, the Fed is tightening in relative terms by doing nothing. So we don't think rates are going to be hiked just yet. And if we get another round of weak economic reports like durable goods, et cetera, we will be more firmly grounded in our no Fed rate hike position.
Okay.
Almost sounds like a strike. No Fed rate hike.
That's what you say.
No Fed rate hike. No Fed rate hike.
Okay. It was Super Bowl week. We can have a chant going.
And so their advice, even though bonds are trading slightly above first level of resistance, technical jargon. This can be clearly seen on the bond chart. Consider locking here.
Okay.
And understand that we will much more optimistic and bullish on bonds if and when prices break above the 2015 highest set of. So basically they're saying this looks like as good as it gets. Like this is where you come in and it's this is the 40% off sale.
Okay.
I mean, is anybody really going to give you 50% off?
Yeah.
40% off, I maybe better make a move if I really want it.
So they don't think it's going to go lower.
They think it will, but the risk is too high to not take advantage of today's deal.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, really, if you're getting, like, for an example, the rates today, if you could get 3.66, is it worth the risk of waiting till they go to 3.5 if they could go to 4 on you?
Yeah.
Probably better. Bird in the hand.
Yep.
Bird in the hand.
Yep.
There's 2 of them in the bush, we thought.
Yep. Would
you rather be in the air wishing you were on the ground? Or on the ground wishing you were in the air?
I'll give you an example. That just happened to me this morning.
Oh, did you were in the air?
No.
Oh,
but about
birds
bird
in the
hand. Okay. Hart is coming to the Civic Center, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Hart and Joan Jett. So I'm tasked because the people I'm going with.
I love it. He's going to tell us how he locked in Joan Jett.
The people I'm going with. He's driving. He's out of town. He can't get tickets. Okay, so I'm blessed with getting the tickets this morning. I go out there and I do that. Okay, got it in. Oh, I don't like those seats because they were like on the floor too far back. So then I did the next one. Oh, I can do better than that one. And then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse because it got really busy. Apparently, everybody wants to go to Hart.
Yeah, that's going to sell out fast.
So I finally got tickets, but I should have taken like at least the second one I got. That was the ideal one that popped up, and I got greedy.
You got greedy.
There you go.
Went for the 2 in the bush.
It happened. Interest rates.
Did you wind up getting a bird?
Yeah, I got tickets. We got tickets. Okay. Not a problem. But, interest rates, concert tickets, same thing. Take what you get. Yep.
Take what you want.
Good time.
If you want it, you got it. Yep. All right, we got other things. We got by the numbers coming up. We actually have Elliot Eisenberg's 2015 forecast.
Ooh,
what do you got?
A whole forecast.
What do you got on tap?
I got. You know what Cortana and backwardization is, as it relates to oil prices?
It sounds like something you'd eat and something you'd kill on swamp people.
Yeah. So we'll find out what it means in the oil business.
All right. After this, back at Mortgage Talk 101 on the break to find out, what swamp people has to do with interest rates on mortgage.
All right.
Right now, 27.
Get the traffic and weather information you need anytime on Super Talk 1270 and online at supertalk1270.com.
Dave, this
Joe?
is definitely the danger zone.
Oh, yeah.
2 dumb guys without a smart... Wait, no, we do have a smart guy. We have Randy.
Well, Randy's here.
Yeah. Taking a lot for granted.
Well,
we narrowly escaped.
Yeah. Are we going to ask him any questions today?
Two dumb guys.
Him?
2 dumb guys alone together.
That's
if this winds up being 3 dumb guys,
oh boy, that's radio at its best.
That's
right there.
going to be trouble.
Let's hope not.
Yeah,
I think what happens is that there actually is some sort of like quantum physics that takes place, causing some sort of fissure in the intelligence of the universe.
There we go.
Some sort of a vortex.
Yeah, some sort of vortex.
It's a dumb guy vortex.
It'll be like a black hole that'll start to suck all the intelligence out of
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's begun.
I fall into that black hole every day.
Every day.
I try, but I can't get out.
I can't.
Oh, well.
It's just, and then it just turns out that I'm being told it's because I can't put my pants on right. All right.
Okay,
so,
I'm no comment.
use the big hole.
Okay,
though.
what do we do?
All right,
We try to
let's
buy
talk
the
about,
numbers.
Let's go buy the numbers.
Okay.
You go, Super Mario.
Oh, okay. I'll go. I'll do number 8. What do we have? How many do we have on the list today? There's 15.
Yep.
I'll do
I love
eight.
number 8. Go with number 8.
Okay, this even split is the title of this one. 45% of they did a survey of 3,154 Americans, back in September. 45% of those 3,000 Americans believe that poor people have it easy because of government benefits they receive. Another 47% of the 3,000 people surveyed.
That's living high on the cheese, so to speak.
Yep, believe that. Another 47% of the 3,000 people believe poor people have it hard because the government benefits they receive don't go far enough. So you basically got half and half. People have it too easy, they have it too hard.
Was that the 47% Mitt was talking about?
Yeah, probably. That's where Mitt Romney got this from.
He
didn't even know the survey
he should
yet.
have said, I was talking about the 47% of the people who think poor people have it too hard.
Yeah, okay. He was, he knew this before it even came out. That Mitt, he's like a seer. He's a Karnak the Great or something, right?
Yeah. So 47% believe that poor people have it hard because the government benefits they receive don't go far enough. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I have an opinion on that.
I don't know enough about it to really say. Is there waste and abuse on government benefit program? Absolutely.
My guess is it's my guess
how
is
much?
My guess is you'd go to a behavioral psychologist or social psychologist on something like this, and what you'd find out is that both are true.
Yeah.
That what you have is you have that clearly you're poor, so you don't have enough.
Yeah.
That my guess is that it's not a good existence.
Yeah.
But at the same time, having a reward for nothing may lead to behavior that helps you not improve it.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid of losing what you get because you're desperate. I mean.
Some people are probably fine with it, and some people are not fine with it.
So it's enough for some and not enough for others.
Right. Yeah.
Depending on what your expectations are. This is probably a place where a bird in the hand hurts you.
Yeah.
Where if you're scared about not having anything, somebody gives you a little, and so you don't try for more.
Right. Yeah.
And you become dependent on just getting a little.
Yeah.
And so it's probably true. Then you never have enough.
Yeah.
And it's probably both are true.
Yeah.
Probably
That's
both
a
are
good
true.
point. Yeah. That would be interesting psychological follow-up to this.
I wonder if we got one of those guys.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find a smart guy for follow-up on.
Okay. If you're out there, 663-1270, please call us.
Yeah. If you got a 662, if you got a poor people got it too easy, and you got an intelligent answer on that, give us a call.
Yeah, and vice versa.
If you got a poor people got it too hard, it doesn't go far enough. 663-1270.
Yep.
We're ready. We're ready to learn something.
And if you want to go completely off topic, 663-1270.
And if you can do anything for our beauty barometer, the address is what, Randy? Where's the studio?
You just woke me up.
We stumped. I think.
What address are you speaking of?
The studio.
4303 Memorial Highway.
On the strip.
The Strip in Mandan.
Perfect.
Okay. You completely stumped him. No, I think the cat's out of the bag. It's 3 dumb guys.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So
Okay. What have you got?
let's go with number 1, Super Mario.
Mario.
The European Central Bank announces plans on Thursday, 1/22/2015, last Thursday, to begin monthly. So the quantitative easing begins in Europe, basically, and it's a comparison. Total purchases of 1.1 trillion euros, approximately 1.25 trillion US dollars. With newly printed money from the ECB, Europe's version of quantitative easing is designed to counter deflation in the Eurozone to create some inflation. So they're trying to create inflation over there in Europe.
Okay. Good for them. I don't know if it's good for them.
Let's go number 4.
All right.
Skin in the game.
Skin in the game. Okay. We always like that.
20% of American workers today have health insurance that has an annual deductible of at least $2,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Source, the Kaiser Family Foundation. So, I don't know. Mine is, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what I got.
Yeah.
Maybe mine's $2,500. I got an HSA.
Okay.
But
so what's the other 80% got?
Higher?
Higher?
Do you think?
Some higher, some lower, I suppose.
I don't
know. Yeah. I wonder why they picked 20% for annual of 2,000. Okay. Anyway. All right. Number 9, road trip.
Good one.
Hey, here we go. The average nationwide price of a gallon of gasoline has fallen for 114 consecutive days through last Friday. From October 2nd, 2014 to January 23rd, 2015, it resulted in a drop in the price of a gallon of $1.30. That is pretty wild.
Well, Golden State, number 11. If the state of California was a country, its $2.2 trillion economy would rank as the 8th largest in the world, ahead of Russia, Italy, India, Canada, Australia, and Spain.
That's a lot. Man, you got one state that's bigger than 8 countries. 9, yeah. Wow.
Russia, even. You know, I mean, like it doesn't surprise you. I'm not surprised to see like Australia. You know, I'm not. You know, you're not surprised to see Canada.
They're 8th. How many countries are in the world? Like 300?
That's a good.
Again, we're asking the wrong people here.
That's a good. Yeah. My daughter is she's the geography bee champion at her school.
Well, there we go. Why isn't she here?
She's 11, so she probably.
Why isn't she here?
We will text her and see.
Well, anyway,
if she
California's got a bigger economy than most of the rest of the world.
Yeah, she
Let's
does.
put it that way.
Oh, Manny, right. I'm texting my daughter.
Randy, collector car. I would have liked to have had this car. A 1964 Ferrari. Okay, pretty sweet.
Nice.
Pretty sweet vehicle.
Nice ride. Yep.
Sold for $8.7 million at an auction in Phoenix, Arizona recently.
Who owned that? Elton John?
It doesn't say.
He just sold a couple of cars. He only got like $150,000.
Well,
for 2 cars.
He's got to get with the program.
I don't get it.
The Ferrari 250 LM, one of just 32 built, had a V12 engine with 320 horsepower. Think about it. In 1964, that was one.
When gas was like a
Imagine what will happen when they put the EcoBoost on that.
Yeah, wow. Gas mileage and everything else. Yeah. The price would go up to $9 million probably.
Or so.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're only talking $1 million or $2 million.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about another rich dude.
Super rich.
Tom Brady, Super Bowl quarterback, of course, playing on Sunday. His rookie contract.
He's got a cold.
Oh, no. I hope he can play.
I didn't feel bad about that.
No, I didn't.
Giselle supposedly has a cold.
If
that brought a tear to my eye.
He can cuddle up with Giselle, I think he'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be just fine. But anyway, his rookie contract, and this is another reason not to feel sorry for him at all. His rookie contract, 2000, was worth $866,000. So it was a 3-year deal, approximately $289,000 a year. He just signed a new one, 3-year, $27 million contract, which comes out to approximately $289,000 every 12 days.
Okay, we got an answer from a listener.
Oh, okay.
196 countries in the world.
196. Okay. So California, they are ranked 8th
out of 196.
So that makes them. They have a bigger economy than 188 countries in the world.
Thank you, Randy Gust. Randy Gust was
Randy Gust. No. Let's ask him if he knew that off the top of his head or if he Googled it.
Did you Google it, Randy?
Yeah.
Answer by text. He's listening. So
nobody named Randy would Google it. We're smart. He just knows. Nice name, by the way.
Okay.
Yes, I Googled.
Oh, well, so much for him being on the show.
So disappointed.
We don't need another dumb guy.
That just disqualified you as the smart guy to join us to balance things out.
If you Google something, does that make you dumb? Because I had to Google it.
I know.
Oh, okay.
No, you have to have the smarts, to get online
to
do
Google
that.
it.
Think about that.
If you don't think to Google it, there may be no hope for you.
Then you got a problem. Okay.
If you don't think to,
then you're living under a rock.
So there's still hope for Randy out there.
Randy says, I do offer awesome first-time homebuyer loans, though.
Oh, there we go.
So Randy Gust, we'll give him a free plug on the show as offering awesome first-time homebuyer loans since he answered the question.
Thank you, Randy.
You can give
Way to
Randy
go,
Gust a call at Cornerstone Bank.
Okay.
All right. Let's see what. We're almost up against the break here.
How much time we got, Randy?
You have exactly 1 minute.
Okay, well, that was an easy question for you.
1 minute and 4 seconds.
Here's what we got coming back for the rest of the hour. We've got Elliot Eisenberg's forecast.
Okay.
We also have his graphs and laughs. He sent some good stuff on graphs and laughs.
He had a good week.
And we didn't even talk about the swamp people.
Contango? Actually,
Gatorola.
And backwardation.
Oh, backwardation in catatonic.
Contango.
Yeah. Well, we hope you don't go catatonic during the break.
Yeah,
Just join us back here on Mortgage Talk 101 after the break.
Right now, 27.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own Super Talk 1270.
Welcome back to Mortgage Talk 101 with Joe Sheehan.
Dave Floor.
Yes. And, do you ever use the voice-to-talk function to send texts on your phone?
Yeah, I haven't done that.
I'm doing it, but there's a problem when you're from Montana, lived in Minnesota, now live in North Dakota. Mm-hmm. Siri doesn't just quite know what to do with you. So like every once in a while I'll send a text, like I just sent one now. Mm-hmm. And I said that you are correct. And it put in there cracked. It's just one word that starts with the same letter and has many of the same letters in it, organized differently, but dramatically changes the outcome of that conversation that I would be engaged in. Yeah. And it's just a tip of the day. Yeah. Tip of the day. Read before you hit send.
You should actually submit that to Apple so they could throw that out as a tip when using Siri.
Yeah, except for then they would call me and then listen to the way that I sound, and then they would say, "Well, what do you want us to do, man?
How can we fix this problem?"
It does sound like you said cracked.
Yeah. Well, for somebody that's from Montana, lived in Minnesota, and now is in North Dakota, that explains a lot.
All right, so.
All right, so
let's go. Are we going to go to? Let's go to Elliot's graphs and laughs. He's
graphs and laughs. All right. Okay, this was from yesterday or today. You kind of very interesting thing about the unemployment rate. Unemployment rate has fallen. Was 10% in October of 2009, and today it's at 5.6%. But the number of persons employed is barely 2 million higher than it was before the Great Recession began in January of 2008. Yeah. And Elliott goes on to say it's because the labor force participation rate has plummeted. Turns out the largest percentage declines in the labor force participation rate are among wealthier teenagers and wealthier young adults aged 20 to 34.
So wait a minute. Okay. Wealthy teenagers, and wealthy young adults under the age of 20.
Under the age of 34.
Okay, so they're not working.
They're not working.
How are they wealthy?
Mom and dad.
So do they
trust funds?
Are they? Yeah. So that's okay. So do they have assets of their own they're living off of, and they personally are wealthy under the age of 34, or are they?
Doesn't break it down, but.
Or because the teenagers part doesn't make sense to me. Or there's just this group of people living with wealthy parents, so they're categorized as wealthy since they're the children of wealthy parents. Do we know?
All question. Well, Elliot's only got 70 words to explain this.
That's true.
You could try and text him.
Either way, I'm a little disappointed.
Talk to him on the text and then see if he can understand what you said.
If there's that many, wealthy kids out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be interesting to follow up. Maybe we should. Maybe I'll submit a question to him and ask him to follow up on this. Okay, when you say wealthy teenagers and wealthier young adults, you just said, are they living with mom and dad? Do they have their own assets that they're living off of? Obviously, the teenagers are probably with mom and dad, but the 30-year-old, do they have a big trust fund? And are living on their own, or are they with mom and dad, or are considered wealthy then?
I mean, and then is it because you don't think they have jobs, or do you think it's because they don't have jobs they want?
Yeah, good. That's another good question. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go work at this job because
I'm not going to work at whatever.
I want that job at
Perkins,
Goldman Sachs. Oh wait.
And I'm smart enough, and I'm pretty enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Yeah.
All right.
So good question. I'll try and remember to send Elliot a question about that one.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now Elliot also had one on oil prices. Oil prices in the United States are down 56% since July of 14. So we just talked about that.
Hamada. Wow.
The picture is vastly different elsewhere because oil is quoted in U.S. dollars. Because the Canadian dollar has fallen versus the U.S. dollar.
Wait a minute.
Converted into...
Are you going to tell me this isn't as bad as we think it is?
No.
Oh, okay.
Depends upon where you're at. Because the Canadian dollar has fallen versus the U.S. dollar. When converted into Canadian currency, the decline has been less severe at just 49%. While in Russia, oil prices in rubles are unchanged. Thus, all else equal, oil exploration and production will fall less there than here. So our oil production, he's saying, would drop, but in Russia, it probably won't drop.
Probably stay the same?
Stay the same, basically.
Because the
ruble, when you convert it over, nothing's really changed over there.
It was bad then?
It's
bad now.
Still bad, yeah, I guess.
It's
kind of what it is.
still bad.
But at least you know what you got. Bird in the hand.
Yeah.
Right? Bird in the hand. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what you got.
How's things over there? Bad.
Yeah.
How are they yesterday? Bad.
Yeah.
How are they going to be tomorrow?
Because we don't necessarily know what we have. Like here in North Dakota, I think the legislature is getting new revenue forecasts based on the lower price of oil. So we don't know what we have here. Yeah.
I bet that's fun.
Yeah. Ooh,
Gives you a good
tough
reason.
job.
Gives you a good reason to say no.
Tough job to figure out, without doubt. Okay.
That's funny.
No,
that should be the
it
bumper
is.
sticker. That should be. It's a tough job to figure out, without a doubt.
Yep. There you go. That is a bumper sticker.
That is.
Yeah.
It is a bumper sticker. Okay, now what is the catatonia?
Contango? Okay.
Let's talk about catatonia.
Okay. Well, it relates to oil prices, and obviously this is important. All this can affect interest rates and the direction of rates, et cetera.
Well, particularly, folks, oil and inflation are connected.
Yeah.
To some degree. So.
Yeah. And it's going to matter, what the Fed does, what happens with the economy, whether the Fed raises rates or leaves them alone through the balance of this year. It's all tied together. This comes from MBS Highway Verrry Habib. Barry's right up there as an oracle, just like Bill Bodner.
Trained Bill.
Yep.
They were partners.
They were partners, so
Jay-Z.
they both know their stuff. But Barry's talking about this guy named Jeff Gundlach, and he should be taken seriously. He manages hedge funds, billion-dollar hedge funds. He claims, Mr. Gundlach claims that all the job creation since 2007 has been fracking related, oil fracking related. As proof, he says that if you extract the data from Texas and North Dakota, you will see no growth in what remains. If so, oil at this level may present a real problem for the Fed and the economy. And, Barry's been talking about this. I
don't want to say anything here, but when I hear stuff like that, that's all to me the kind of stuff that gets missed in the headlines when then people go, where did this recession come from?
Yeah. Now, Barry goes on to explain about what contango is. And right now he says we are in contango. And what this is, we have a new Saudi king. They say they're going to continue their current policies and may even increase production of oil. So we are now in what's called contango in the oil business. And so the dynamics of that is when future oil prices or forward prices are higher than current prices, the term is called contango. Now, you would think that means the price of oil would go up in the future, right? Kind of makes sense, okay?
You're saying if
but
the price
actually means
if the price of oil is lower, then it will be in the future.
Oil price now the oil future prices, so the future
future prices, right? So the futures are higher
than the current prices. Okay, you would think that oil would go up, the price of oil would go up in the future, but it actually means the exact opposite. A major component of future prices is the storage cost of oil. When costs at storage facilities are high and it costs more to store it in the months ahead, that means there is an excess of supply and nowhere to store it. When supply is so high, costs of oil should come down. On the other hand, when costs at storage facilities are low, meaning we're pumping that oil, it's not being stored anywhere, that means that there is a shortage of supply and you can store your oil at bargain basement prices. So that affects the price of the oil you're paying, okay? If this occurs, you will see future oil prices lower than the current prices, and that is called backwardation. When supply is low, that usually means the price of oil should go higher, and the market is currently in contango. When we see the spread of future oil prices widen, it means that we should start to see the price of oil fall further. Now,
that's what they're saying.
This week, Barry put into his update. The contango spreads continue to widen. The last widening of spreads correctly forecasted the recent price drop from $46 to $44 a barrel. And the current chart that they have out as of today shows that the additional 33-cent widening of the spread. And that suggests that they will see a further drop in oil prices in the near future, which could definitely affect the economy. In some places good, in some places bad.
And what are we talking about? And then we got the other guy who's saying that all new job creation has been fracking. In Texas
so if you
North Dakota.
tie those together, you're going to see Texas and North Dakota reduce jobs, which is probably happening as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then how much does that affect the economy and what the Fed does with interest rates, et cetera, right?
It's
all interesting.
And then not to mention, if you start having a declining or an increasing jobless picture again, that's going to affect consumer confidence.
Yep.
Consumer confidence is going to impact.
Yep. Home builders are going to look at that.
Which explains so much. I mean, it explains so much of why you don't have a recovery amidst this recovery.
Yeah.
Why it doesn't? If the only jobs that were increased were fracking, you're talking about, first of all, you're talking about a group of people who were in a, I mean, really, the North Dakota economy has been on the lower scale before, until fracking came back. We were at the lower end of the wage scale.
Exactly.
We were a low wage state. We were the lowest house prices. We had the lowest.
We were stagnant on population and losing population.
And so what you really have seen is you've seen our population have kind of this inflation in wages and opportunity and house prices and goods, but that doesn't contribute to a national GDP effect, except for the oil that we ship out of here.
Yeah.
So the same thing with like Texas. So now if all of a sudden, and the other people who work here and go back, well, what are they doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're working here and they're going back home, and a lot of them are bailing themselves out of trouble. It's not that they're improving their lifestyle, buying new homes. They're paying off
debt, whatever.
Paying off debt. They're bailing. They're using coming up here and working for a high wage to go back and fix their home situation, which collapsed in the Great Recession.
True. Yeah, I'm sure.
And so there's just, where's the positive national momentum in the economy?
Yeah. If Mr. Gundlach was right and said this was all the job growth was in oil business in Texas
in 2 states,
and North Dakota, basically.
And Wyoming, probably.
Really, did the rest of the country do anything? And then are we Japan, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, we're Japan then, because nothing, no growth, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and actually that comes up in Elliott's forecast, which we'll come to after the break. 15 seconds we're into the break, and then we'll come back with Elliott Eisenberg's forecast for the year. Cool. Anything else that you got on there?
Last week I was freaking out about collateral underwriter.
Yep.
No, don't freak out about collateral underwriter.
And I actually have some practical experience.
You got practical experience, okay.
After the break here on Mortgage Talk 101, we will talk about what's going to happen in the future of the economy.
Right now, 28.
Your news leader, weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
And we are back after the break here. Joe Sheehan and
Day 4.
We were just talking on the break. We were talking about Deflategate. And we were talking about how the Patriots seem to be kind of like the Raiders, but like they're a white-collar version of the Raiders.
Yeah.
So like the old 70s Raiders with the stick 'em on the socks. There's like all these ways that they didn't do things that were necessarily illegal,
but they made it illegal eventually.
They put a hit on you that was not really probably inside the rules, but it wasn't outside the rules.
But
they were mean about it.
Yeah, like John Matuzak and Ted Hendricks
they wiped their stick 'em off on your face, and
after
beard
they tackled you.
after they caught the touchdown. I mean, they were like that.
The Patriots are kind of like they're like the all-American, truly an all-American quarterback that like kind of gets away with stuff just because of who you are.
Oh, it's Tom.
Everybody kind of likes you, but you get away with stuff.
Oh, but that's just Tom.
It's Tom. It's
I saw Tom looking on Jenny's paper. Well, it's just Tom.
Yeah, it's Tom.
He doesn't he's not really trying to cheat.
He's not cheating.
It's not really cheating.
He didn't need to do that.
I know he knows the answer.
Yeah.
I know he knows the answer. He just likes Jenny.
Okay.
Well, actually likes Jenny.
Anyway, that's our take on Deflategate.
That's hilarious.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Maybe to us. All right, so
Okay.
let's go ahead and talk about collateral underwriter.
Oh, collateral.
We were talking about this last week, and
I was freaking out, man.
You were.
And now there's an article from the Housing Wire that says there's no need to freak out about collateral underwriter. And
I said so.
actually, and you calmed me down last week.
I did.
You said, "Hi, Dave. I'm looking at this. It's not so bad. It's not so bad." And now
I snuck a little something in your
went
coffee.
into effect on Monday, right? And you've already had an example of why not to freak out about it.
Well, right, because for example, they're collecting all this data. Now, if you were going to freak out about it, maybe you'd be an appraiser freaking out about it.
Yeah, that could be.
And we did talk about the one reason to freak out about this is that if collateral underwriter starts kicking back more questions, the cost of appraisals are going to go up.
Yep.
And so there are reasons to be concerned.
So a possible effect on the consumer.
Absolutely.
Another price going up. Yeah.
Because every time you do stuff, it seems to impact consumers. Now, the reason not to freak out is because, like, for example, when we're working on refinances, and we're doing a rate and term refinance, which is just simply where you refinance the current balance of the mortgage without increasing it or giving, not getting any cash back or anything like that, just taking your current balance and refinancing to a lower rate. We are getting findings from Fannie Mae DO that say we don't need an appraisal.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I don't know for sure, but I assume the data they're getting from the Uniform Data Collateral Portal, which is where every appraisal we get, we upload the data, and it goes into a big data warehouse of
big data.
Freddie and Fannie.
It's all part of big data.
Yep, and that all, I assume, is fed into some algorithm that runs back through the decision engine. Yep. And so here's an example of where if you're getting a refinance, you just benefited because you don't have to get an appraisal.
Yeah, nice.
And technically, here's some comments. Here's the stuff that Fannie and Freddie used. This is what they were starting on the path when Fannie and Freddie got all this technology and computers started working. Before there was so much pressure for them to expand ownership opportunity by getting aggressive and insuring stuff that they shouldn't have. This was the kind of stuff they were doing that made home ownership more accessible. Yeah. Because if you're just refinancing your current balance and you've got perfect credit and you've never missed your house payment, and there's an interest rate opportunity to go lower, which even improves your ability to make that house payment, which even makes you less risky than you were before, why should you have to have an appraisal to do that?
I totally agree with that. It's a waste of money and time.
I mean,
for everybody.
I mean, technically on the risk side, I could see how you could say, well, if the value in the house is decreased, your risk has gone up. But your risk has gone up only if there's going to be a loss in the next few years. Yeah. What's the reason to believe there's going to be a loss on somebody who's living in their primary residence, who's paid everything perfectly?
Yeah, yeah. There was a bigger risk in not refinancing the person, probably because if they're lowering their payment. Yeah.
They're going to be able to pay it easier. I just
it's kind of like the self-employed borrower being more risky than the employees that work for the self-employed person.
So here's an example of where Fannie and Freddie kind of going, you know what? We're going to give up on this whole reform idea. Maybe you guys are still all going to talk about it, but we're going to go run our show like we're going to run our show, and we're going to do it the way that we think we need to do it. And so here you're seeing them with the collateral thing and the collateral underwriter, and obviously the UDCP is starting to pay off in terms of how we're getting refinances done and stuff. So I mean, good news.
Yeah. I'm just glad you took me down off the ledge.
Yeah. So what else were they saying? Why not to freak out about it?
That's basically it. I mean, they just said there's more good out of this than bad.
Did they list any other potential good consequences?
You know, all I did was look at the headline.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You didn't want.
I can go through it. Let's see. No, I
shuffle the papers a little bit.
They're pretty much. Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
We're really reading them.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's pretty much what they were saying.
Okay.
There's just from their experience, there's no need for alarm. Okay, so that's that. Elliot Eisenberg's forecast for 2015.
And here it is, the weak global economy. Japan is in the midst of a period of quantitative easing that is so aggressive, it makes the Bernanke-led Federal Reserve look like the work of rank amateurs.
Ooh.
Given the desperate predicament the Japanese find themselves in, which includes a shrinking population, more than 2 decades of dismally weak growth, persistent deflation, and a debt-to-GDP ratio of whopping 250%, this approach makes sense. That said, it won't work.
Okay. So basically...
Don't you love that? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to amputate. But it's not going to save your life.
Okay. So really what Randy, Joe, and Dave could do this just as well or better. They should give us a shot at it, I think.
Why not?
Why not?
How bad could we mess up Japan, really?
Yeah. I think it's worth it. Randy, you in for that?
Are you in for this?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we
shot
can do
at
much
Japan?
worse.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
If it can't get any worse.
There's our offer. It's on the table.
You know what? You've tried it the smart way.
Yeah. No.
Now try it the dumb way.
Yeah.
And
There
see
we
what
go.
happens.
Okay.
All right.
Well, for that. The offer's on the table.
That's right.
Take it or leave it.
Give us a shout or whatever they do.
Yep.
I fully expect the late year economic momentum from 2014 to carry over into 2015 and for the coming year to generally improve in all areas compared to last year. Not off to a good start so much.
No.
So poor Elliott kind of, he's going long in the game.
Yeah.
It's going to all come in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
There
we go.
You play for 4 quarters, Joe.
Yeah.
You played for 4 quarters.
Darn right.
First quarter, not so good, Elliott.
Not so good. Okay.
We love Elliott, but and European. Any little synopsis here? Europe is starting to look increasingly like Japan.
Yeah.
So even the cure may not help them. Interest rate in the Fed. We read a little bit about that earlier. A delay in raising interest rates is likely to occur if core inflation
there we go.
gets too low, which might well happen due to declining energies prices.
There we go. We're in Contongo.
In addition, the Fed might also delay the first rate increase if the dollar continues to strengthen, which would hurt exports and reduce inflation, and also if wages, which have been very weak for the last 15 years, do not soon pick up steam. In essence, the Fed would be very leery to start raising rates in an environment or flat to declining overall prices.
Well, I think
if they do it, he said they're likely to be very weak, very small. Here's a bold prediction.
Okay.
As a result, it will probably take about 2.5 years after rates start rising to get the Fed funds to 3 3/4.
No, yeah. If they do it, it's going to be like fits and starts, probably, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's try it.
Bad
idea.
The problem is when the economy reacts. Well, let's go to the summary.
They could raise it like a quarter of a percent, and then see what happens, and then they probably just sit there for a while, and then see if things
how that reacts.
See how that goes, and then maybe 3, 4, 6 months later they up it another 0.25% and see what happens. I just think it would be little tiny baby steps.
Here's the review.
Okay.
2015 is shaping up to be a year of incremental improvement. GDP should rise 2.5% or at least 2.85. Inflation will all likelihood decline. In the process, give the Fed some heartburn regarding the timing of its first rate rise.
Okay.
Wages will pick up in the later half of the year, so he is betting on the end of the unemployment rates continue to decline steadily. Energy prices will remain low, which will boost the economy. Lastly, expect the short end of the yield curve to probably start rising by year's end, while the long end remains very low due to very weak global inflation, continued investor demand for long-dated treasuries, which means that he thinks rates will start to rise at the end of the year, folks. That's what that means. If I were to focus on 3 things in 2015, it would be inflation rates, wage growth, home building. The closer inflation is to 2%, the better home building and wages perform. Yeah. The earlier interest rates start rising. Lastly, expect increased financial volatility as the year progresses.
All right. Well, next week.
So in other words, it's going to be better, but it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Next week we have a guest.
Rob Chrisman. You won't want to miss it. He is the #1 most prolific blogger in the mortgage universe.
Joe and I are going to think of some dumb questions to ask a really smart guy.
Sit back and let him go.
All right. Here we go.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. And tune in next week here on Mortgage Talk 101.